Hello and welcome! I'm Engineer Troy, and today I will be your guide in this brand new series that is designed to be a beginner-friendly, default difficulty achievement run in Oxygen Not Included. In this series, I will show you all the tips and tricks I have learned so you can learn the game, get all the achievements, and possibly be entertained along the way. So who am I, you ask?
Who are you?
Well, I'm Engineer Troy. I'm an automation slash building slash factory slash strategy slash gamer boy enthusiast with literally hundreds of hours building in games like Minecraft, Satisfactory, 7 Days, and Stormworks. But more importantly, I have over 260 hours of experience in Oxygen Not Included. So are you still there? Alright, perfect. Well, let's get started. So for those of you who have never played this before, once you click Start Game here, you'll be greeted by this screen right here. And for the purposes of this series, we're going to be using survival because we're real gamer boys. And on this screen, we're going to pick Spaced Out because that's what we're playing, and which will land us on this screen right here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Game Settings. We're going to make sure that all these are on default. We do want care packages, and that looks good. We're going to close out of here. And then we'll give this a roll. This just shuffles the world seed or the coordinates here for our starting area. We're going to be starting on Terrania. We'll hit this a couple of times till we get something that looks nice. I typically like metal-rich stuff. There you go. That looks good. So we'll go there. And after we do that, we'll go ahead and start game. So here are 3 starting dupes that were initially given. I'll just start from the top here. This button right here just re-rolls the dupe. Each time we do this, it'll randomly do the stats and all this other stuff down here. However, we can come over here, and if we're looking for something in particular, let's say we're looking for a cooker, the top attribute or interest here will be cooking, and we can just re-roll this and it'll kind of do like this. Kind of helps you narrow it down if you're looking for something in particular. I like to kind of just leave it on random and just keep going until I find what I'm looking for. But that's just me. You can do this however you want. Next we have their name. This is Gossman, obviously their picture. And below that we have their interests. And the interests are areas of expertise, or what I like to call errand categories, that the dupes are interested in and will receive morale bonus for learning. As you can see here, Gossman here has interest in researching, and she has a +5, and you can see how that modifies that errand category. It increases the speed and her leveling and that kind of stuff. And here's building. That increases +4, which gives 100% construction speed increase, which isn't bad. Below that we have traits. Now traits can be positive or negative, and they affect the proficiency at which dupes will perform a given task. I personally prefer solid 3 interest dupes. We'll see here, like that. I want to try to go for 3. I find that just works for me. However, I am open to strong 2 interest dupes with complementary positive and minimal negative traits. Now what do I mean by complementary positive traits? Camille here has digging. She has +3. Now she also has super hard digging, so that means she has an interest in digging. So she'll get a morale bonus for learning digging, but she'll also already have this skill unlocked, which is kind of, this right here is what I mean by complementary. Now there are other types of complementary. Let's see here what we can roll. See if we can find something else that's complementary. Just as an example of the other type of complementary trait would be Jean right here. Jean has operating, which gives her +5 machinery, which gives her 50% machine operation speed. However, she also has the Grease Monkey trait, which gives her an additional +3, which will give her an additional +3 to that, which will give her a total of +8. So that's another example of complementary. Now this also works in the opposite direction. Let me go ahead and find an example here. Okay, so here we have Frankie, and Frankie is interested in cooking. However, he also has the negative trait Kitchen Menace, which means he has a decrease of -3. So -3 +3 is 0. So essentially he's interested in cooking, but he gets 0 bonus for his cooking. So that's what I mean by this working in the opposite direction, and really working against his interest. That being said, we're going to go ahead and roll these dupes until we get what we're looking for. I'm generally looking for solid 3 interest dupes. The boxes I'm looking to check are a researcher, rancher, at least 1 digger, 1 builder, and a cook. So I'm open to strong 2-interest dupes with complementary positive and minimal negative traits. However, it just kind of depends on how these things roll out. So let's go ahead and roll a couple of dupes and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, here you go. So I kind of changed my mind on this. I ended up picking Cooker just because we have ranching and building here, with a little bit of operating. Hassan also has operating, but more importantly has researching. We've kind of minimized our negative traits here, which this one, I'm not really worried about Hassan here doing attack errands. However, the +3 to science and the quick learner is a really good complementary skill to research. Over here with the ranching, we have +1 here, but we also have animal lover, which gives us a +3. The only negative here is the biohazardous, but since we're playing on default, I'm not really concerned about that. I don't think we're going to have an issue with germs in this colony. And Lindsay over here, like we were saying, we picked her to be our cook, and we were also kind of deficient in a digger. And that's a pretty strong dig right there, 150% digging speed. She also gets the early morning attribute bonuses. However, her negative is building impaired. I generally don't like to pick this. However, I think we're going to roll with this and kind of see how this goes, because I don't think we're going to have an issue. Because in the beginning of the game, as you'll see as this plays out, is that Max here is going to probably be doing our building, because we're not going to need him to ranch right out of the gate, because we kind of have to work towards that. We have some things we need to unlock first, and Lindsay can be our digger, so they'll complement each other as kind of a bit of a team. So with that said, let's go ahead and name our colony. I'm just going to come up with something simple here. I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I'm just going to call this Deep Space 14. How about that? And we'll hit embark. Okay, so the first thing I do here is I'll hit space for pause. You can also do that up here. Tab will change the speed at which the time passes. I'm going to leave it for normal for now. I'm going to zoom out here. Just kind of take a look at the map. Kind of see what we have going on here. First things first, you can look up here at our materials overlay. You can filter this out for your metals, which right here we have the copper. Filter it out for minerals, which is stuff like sandstone. We'll get to what these things do here in a little bit. This is sand, consumable ores like coal and oxalite. We have organic stuff like algae. This will be important a little bit later on when, to help us produce oxygen, because it's not included. Big surprise. And here's cultivatable soil like dirt and fertilizer and stuff like that. This is your gas tab. This is one of the things that I look at a lot, especially once I get going. It just kind of tells you what gases are in what tiles. Here we go for the liquids, and others I don't really use this, so I'm just going to leave this here. This is the temperature overlay. I like to give this a look just to kind of see where we're at. I don't expect any particular problems here as far as the heat goes, but as you progress through the game, heating and cooling becomes more important. However, right now, I don't really think we have any problems. The Terrania asteroid is pretty easy, pretty habitable. With that said, we'll just go ahead and get started here. So let's talk about our Cycle 1 objectives. First things we want to do on day 1 that we really need to get done is we need to get some bathrooms down, and for that we're going to need a pitcher pump. I'll show you what that is right here. So this is a pitcher pump. This is how you pump up liquids out of these water reservoirs that you see here. Those will fill up. Well, obviously we have our outhouses here. That's what we need to go to the bathroom. But more importantly, after we use the bathroom, we're going to use a wash basin. So here's the wash basin, and it takes water, which is why we need the pitcher pump. So the first things we need are the pitcher pump, the bathrooms, which will be the outhouse, and we'll also need the wash basin. And then after that, we'll want to get beds down for our duplicants, which will be over here. So first thing we'll want to do is we'll want to dig up a couple tiles. Now personally, with this being a starting asteroid, I like to lay things out pretty early on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and hit tab. Get this going a little bit faster. I'm going to clear all this out. Okay, so they have beds. Alright, so let's look here. We're going to put these down first. Go back here and we'll grab our outhouses. Now that we've got that sorted out, now we'll start I'm going to pause that with space. We're going to start thinking about what we want to do next. Now the next thing that I generally do after we get the bathrooms, the pitcher pumps, and the beds down, we want to try for a research station and get some electricity going, because we're going to need that for the research station. So the research station is on the stations tab. However, we're going to need metal ore for that, which will be on this particular asteroid. It'll be this stuff right here. It'll be copper. So we're going to want to grab some of that. I'm just going to come over here and grab some of it real quick. Easy peasy. Once they grab that, we'll go ahead and we'll start doing that. I like to put that above. I like to put that here, And then what I'd like to do right here is I like to go above this, and then I'll go ahead and lay this out for that. Just do like a 2 wide here, because what we'll want to do is we'll come over here and grab this. And I just like to put it above here. Start off with a small battery. Also come over here and grab these tiles here. I'd like to go ahead and do something like this. Grab the research station, I'll plop that right here. And then we'll wire it in. Here's the wire. And this is my personal preference, but I generally... Oh, we need to get a little bit more. Let's grab a little bit more of this. Now the reason why they're coming back up here is because this is carbon dioxide. They can't breathe that. They don't like it, but they'll deal with it for now. And while we're doing this, let's go ahead and talk about the skills and schedule. So far we don't have any skills. They'll gain experience and then they'll get a skill point, and then you'll be able to spec them into this. And now this is what I meant by interests. There's a heart here indicating that they have an interest in digging. So if we actually get this, you'll see here over the preview over in this area that it'll actually show you what the morale total will be. So if you get this, you see how it'll be a little bit less if we go here, and it shows you the difference in the numbers. Come over here, priorities real quick. I'm going to hit space to pause this. So remember we said that Lindsay's going to be our digger, Max is going to eventually be our rancher, Hassan is definitely going to be our researcher, and then we also had a builder. Where's our builder? You are a builder. We're going to put you for that. And then you're also going to be our cook. That's going to be your priority. So we're going to have to worry about cooking and ranching for a little bit. So on these right here, I like to go ahead and just set them one direction. You set it in this direction, that means that they'll go past it in this way, but when they come past this way, if there's any germs on them, which is actually this overlay over here, currently there's really no germs in the colony. You'll see it once they use the bathroom for the first time. When they have germs and they pass this way, they'll use the lavatory. If there's water in it, they'll wash their hands, which will remove the germs, the food poisoning germs. Oh, also, I almost forgot, we need to go to the schedule. Now the way I like to do the schedule is, I like to set this up, you see that they have 3 hours of sleep. I like to set up 8 schedules, just for the simple fact that 8 goes into 24, which is 24 blocks here, 3 times. So you can take this and make 8 schedules. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and set this up. You can do it with these tools up here, and then I'll come back to you here in a second. Okay, so as you can see here, I went ahead and set up these schedules. I have 8 of them. I'm going to turn the shift alarm off while I'm thinking about it. I gave them 2 downtime, 3 bedtime, and then a bathroom in the morning. And as you can see, this schedule shifts by 3 blocks, and it's repeated 8 times to fully cover the 24 period cycle. And so what I do is I'll go ahead and I'll put Lindsay has an early bird attribute, which gives her +2 in the morning. Now all these little sun ones are the morning. So we want to make sure that she's working through the entire morning. Now since we're over here, we're going to go ahead and shift some of this schedule. So we're going to put Lindsay here, Hassan here, and then Max here. So we'll just kind of work through this, and as we add duplicates, we're just going to fill them in to where we have 1 on each schedule. And once we do that, if we end up going past 1 per schedule, then we'll just start going down the list again. And we'll obviously kind of prioritize them depending on whether they're early birds or night owls or whatever. With that said, let's go ahead and get back in here. We'll go ahead and get all this stuff done. There we go. So now that that's done, oh, actually, you know what? I think we forgot to hook something up here. Yes, we did. Let's go ahead and get that hooked up. Now, we don't want them sitting around too much. They're idling right now, which I don't like. Maybe not all of them, but they were for a second there. So we're going to go ahead and get this taken care of. The next things we're going to want to do is we're going to start to research. I'll explain that in the next episode. And also, we're going to want to start exploring the map to kind of see where everything is. As you can see over here, we have the teleport over here. We'll look at that coming up, and then we'll just kind of look around and see what we have going on and start planning out where we're going to go, what we're going to do, that type of thing. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode. We'll see you in the next one.